Okay, so I've managed to install Workbench 3.1, and that's in order to get high-speed Pascal to compile the changes I wanted to make. I just couldn't make it work under 1.3, and I'll show you exactly where the problem was. So I'm just going to load from my shared folder. Now this is accessible from 1.3 as well, plus my Windows computer. And let's just set this to disk. And let's build it all, just to show that it actually works. And if we run it, there we go. So one of the problems I had before was if I clicked and this window gained focus, I wasn't able to move my crosshair around. The other problem I had was I couldn't use the actual arrow keys. So I'm using the arrow keys right now. Let me just see if you can see. So, so those work, and we could also do this now, which is cool. This is one of the things I always loved about the Amiga. So I've managed to solve these problems, but the way I've solved it was by hacking the graph unit that comes with a high-speed Pascal. So this is where it normally defines the default screen and window, and I've changed a few things. So this is the changes I made right here, the flags and the IDCMP flags. So I had to add the vanilla key and raw key. Now, unfortunately, the raw key doesn't work with with Workbench 1.3. So that's the only feature that basically that doesn't work. So let's just show that. So let's quit, and I'm going to switch to Workbench 1.3. Okay, so this is what we just compiled. So if we run it, if I spell it correctly, there we go. So it looks pretty much the same, and I could do this as well. And we know we're in 1.3 because the nice blue and white colors and the mouse cursor, it's slightly different. So what doesn't work are the arrow keys. So I'm moving the crosshair using the A, S, W, and Z key. So it still functions the same way, but the arrow keys do not work because Workbench 1.3 does not support the raw key feature that was introduced later. So if you, let me see, best YouTuber ever. Here we go. So when I move the keys now, nothing happens. So that's a limitation of Workbench 1.3. But I've left the keys so you can use the A, S, W, and Z to move around. So it still functions the same way. Everything else uses the standard keys, so it works just like normal. So if we quit here, and also now I got an icon. So that should make it easier to run. I will upload this in the releases portion of the GitHub. I'm not going to release the modified graph code because I'm not sure about how legal that is or right or wrong. But what I intend to do in the future, just to clean this up, is basically create a small version of the graph unit. I'll write my own code to display the ellipse and the squares and rectangles. Um, and I won't use any of this code, at least cut and paste. I'll use my own versions of basically the same commands. That way I could distribute the whole thing. But yeah, this is rather long and I'm not using everything that's in here. So it doesn't make sense to release something that's not mine, and it's actually too long and it doesn't need to be this long. So I probably won't do this for a while, but that's what I just been doing. It's really time consuming, but I've actually learned a lot with programming the Amiga. So let's just end with this. And if you managed to watch this from the beginning to end, thanks for watching. All right, let's stop.